I've always been a great fan of the new year, that sense of a fresh beginning and possibility. Although I've never been a fan of resolutions. For most people, resolutions are a knee-jerk response to overindulgence at Christmas. And as research tells us, come the third week in January, 97% of resolutions will be dropped. I've titled this short video, How to Keep Your Resolutions. And I'm going to share with you 5 practical tips and insights that make all the difference in this area. But first, let's look at the word resolution itself. Now, we can reframe it. We can look at re-solutioning something. So a new solution to an old issue. From my experience, most of the time, those older issues fall within 2 broad categories. One is around well-being, prompted by that overindulgence at Christmas. But we have resolutions around giving up smoking, losing weight, getting fit, eating more healthily, joining a gym, all of those platitudes that we hear come the 1st of January. The second category of resolutions would fall under the broad heading of potential. So this year I'm looking to expand my interests and hobbies, or I'm looking to start a new business, I'm looking to expand my business, I'm looking to change my job, I'm looking to form a new relationship or enhance a relationship. So those are the 2 broad categories of issues that we look to resolve at the beginning of the year. Of course, we can also look at that term resolve. So I'm going into January with a greater sense of resolve. So in that regard, we can look at resolutions as perhaps something where there is sense and meaning behind the word. So here are the 5 tips and practical distinctions that I think make all the difference when we're looking at resolutions or goals or objectives or a results-focused mindset. They're tips and distinctions that I use with clients, and they're also ones that I rely on myself. They all start with the letter P, which makes them easy to remember. And you'll be glad to know that one of those P words is not the word plan, because I'm not a huge fan of detailed planning either. Let me take you through them. So the first P is the word promise. Now, we often come across terms like outcomes and objectives when we're looking at goal setting, but those words don't have a huge amount of emotional content in them, whereas the word promise is quite a heavy word. If you set a promise or you promise to do something for someone else and you don't follow through on it, you will tend to feel bad. Here we're looking at creating or setting some promises towards ourselves. So this year, going into 2016, I promise that I'm going to look for ways of having a more fulfilling career. I promise myself that I'm going to eat more healthily. I promise myself that I'm looking to enhance my well-being. So if we use the word promise, I think it creates a more sustainable emotional connection with what it is we're trying to do. The second P word is the word personal. So many resolutions that we set at the beginning of the year are really platitudes. There's another P word. The same old that everyone banters about come the 1st of January around losing weight or giving up cigarettes or finding a better job. But for our resolutions, for our promises to stick, they really need to be personal. I would go so far as to say they almost need to feel precious to us. Something very precious, something important to us, something that's unique to me. For example, this year I promise myself that I'm going to take some risks to enhance the quality of my life when it comes to relationships and when it comes to career. It just feels a little bit more personal, it feels more precious. The next tip is the word positive. Now, traditional goal setting will tell us that all goals or objectives need to be positively worded, so we're moving towards something positive. Even things like losing weight or giving up cigarettes, they're negatively worded. And the unconscious mind can't really process negatives. Just try not thinking of a yellow door. A yellow door pops up. When we're talking about losing weight or giving up cigarettes, our unconscious mind associates a sense of loss with it. So we need to turn it around. We need to look at what I'm working towards instead. So this year, going into 2016, I'm looking to enhance my well-being. I'm looking to create a healthier lifestyle for myself. There's different energy, there's great positivity to those phrases. Our 4th P word, the 4th tip, is the word permission. I found, both with myself and with clients I work with in this area, that so often we have to give ourselves permission to try. Many of us will go through life trying to do things perfectly, whether that's taking up a hobby and painting or photography or trying to find the ideal relationship or the ideal career. And maybe those things are out there towards our potential, some more P words there. But in the short term, what gets us to start working towards them or trying something different, it's giving ourselves permission to give it a go. And sometimes it's giving ourselves permission to fail. What's the worst that can happen? Our final tip, and it's the most important one, I've kept it to the end, is the word process. This goes to the heart of keeping resolutions. When we're working towards something new, if we've set ourselves a goal or an outcome or a desired result, think of that like a destination. We're looking to get to a destination. The process is what we do every day to get us to that destination. And if we don't enjoy the process, we ain't going to enjoy the journey. So if the destination is to live a healthier lifestyle, you will determine what the process is towards that. Maybe it's being more aware of what it is you're eating. Maybe it's going to the gym 3 days a week or going for a walk 4 evenings a week. But if you don't find a way of enjoying the process, you're not going to stick with the journey. Equally, if we remember that all goals are objectives, our requests to feel more of a positive emotion. So if you're looking to get fit, if we stick with that typical resolution, it's like, how will that make you feel? Well, I'll feel more energized. I'll feel a greater sense of possibility. I'll feel more freedom. I'll feel more of myself. That's the ultimate destination that you're after. But if you're aware of what those emotions are and how you'll feel on the completion of your goal or resolution or promise, how can you connect with those emotions during the process? How can you show up every day feeling a bit more energized, a bit freer, with a greater sense of potential and possibility? I hope these tips and insights have been of practical benefit to you. Let's recap on them. What promises are you making to yourself in 2016? Keep any goals or objectives personal to you and positively worded. Where can you give yourself permission just to try something, just for the fun of it? And lastly, never forget the importance of process, enjoying what you're doing every day as you work towards the achievement of your promises and your resolutions. If you've enjoyed these few tips, there are many more resources on my website covering topics like results-focused mindset or even creating new definitions of success for you. One of my books, Soar, is all to do with goal setting and creating a results-focused mindset, so it might be a resource worth checking out. In the meantime, I wish you success with all your endeavours in the weeks and months ahead, and remember, it's about enjoying the process.